Hey, it's Derek from TCI. I'm back with more ways to run Cat6 better and faster. Let's begin. Let's talk about pulling line and all the tools that I use it with. You have to run your Cat6 wires through steel or PVC conduits. You probably already have a fishing tape. You know all about putting string on the end, taping it up, tying it off, and pulling it back through that pipe. You probably know that steel is good for rigid long distances, and nylon is good for not electrocuting yourself when you hit a hot wire at the other end. We've retired the steel fish at almost every one of our job sites. In its place, we've added these braided fish tapes, and most of these have a swiveling head. If you're new to doing this kind of work, you've probably experienced the tangle that happens when you try to pull it back. Friction is intense. Using the swivel head greatly relieves the pressure you need to apply in order to pull that string back. So the braided nylon means that there'll be less surface area to contact the pipe that you're pulling through. Easier to feed this, it's easier to pull it back. These are expensive, but they make the job a lot easier, and they're cheaper than a chiropractor. Pull string also goes hand in hand with these fishing rods. These are used by twisting them together to create a very long rod that you then pass through the ceiling to your buddy. With the string attached, you can then pull all your cables through, skipping many ceiling tiles. You probably already knew that, which means you also know that it is really difficult to travel with these. I fly city to city very often. Dealing with the sticks is a major pain. That is why we've started using these handheld extendable rods. There's one nylon and one steel. Steel is stiffer and doesn't droop so much, so you can cover quite a great distance with this. Plus, both types fit easily in your pocket. This particular product is for the sport of frisbee golf. These attachments are made to pull frisbees out of trees, but if I were them, I would rebrand this immediately for Cat6 running. Let me introduce you to the low voltage cutout jig. Maybe your client has asked you to put an outlet in a ridiculous location. There's no outlet there, so you're going to have to cut one. This makes a perfect square for single gang and double gang every time. I'm partial to this DeWalt jab saw with built-in file. Just in case there's rough edges on your square cutout, you can bring that down. It folds, it fits perfectly in your pouch. Using the cutout jig and your jab saw, you can install a low voltage mount inside any cutout of drywall that you've made. Now, I'm aware that they do make adapters for multi-tools that allow you to do this in a single cut. It's fine to use those adapters whenever you're in a construction site, but if you're in an occupied office, I wouldn't recommend it. It creates a distraction that's about as bad as a doctor delivering twins in the cubicle next to you, or perhaps a car backfiring right under your desk. These all-in-one jigs that you put on a multi-tool are just about the loudest thing you will ever hear. Here, why don't I show you how quick and easy it is to use the jab saw with this cutout jig. Here's a tip. If you're working in an occupied office, go to your client's restroom, grab some paper towels, and wet them in the sink. Drywall is made of a material that easily turns into slurry when it's wet. If you place it below the cutout you're making, it will catch all of the dust and it won't go anywhere. You'll thank me later. Let me introduce you to a tool that has saved my life on countless jobs. This voltage detector is sensitive enough to pick up static electricity. And if you're not sure you're about to touch a live wire, you want this in your tool pouch in order to make sure it is live or dead. Nothing will ruin your day faster than an energized wire making contact with the top of your head as you lift a tile and climb into a ceiling. It wouldn't matter to me how much this thing costs. You've got to have one. Here's my trusty punch tool from Fluke. It was expensive as heck, but it's lasted for decades. However, did you know you probably need a different die? Let me show you. This diagonal die is useful for whenever you're working in tight areas and cannot get the tool straight up and perpendicular with the panel. You can slip this in between wires and other conductors and punch in at an odd angle. I can't tell you how many times I've contorted myself trying to get just the right amount of leverage in order to punch properly. And this die, with its angled head, has helped me over and over again. These are just some more of the tools that I use every day to install my Cat6 networks. I've got plenty more that I'd love to share with you in future videos. But if you've got suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.